She traded herself for shelter, but the scarred rancher gave her a home and a future she never dared to dream. Willow Creek, Wyoming territory, December 1881. The wind howled down Main Street like a wounded beast, dragging flurries of snow in its wake and slamming them against the shuttered windows and crooked storefronts of the small town. Lanterns flickered behind frosted glass, casting trembling pools of light onto the frozen ground in the shadow of the alley beside Mallister's saloon. Anna Harlow braced herself into the brick wall, arms wrapped tightly around her ribs. Her lips were cracked, her fingers stiff with cold, and the thin shawl around her shoulders did nothing to stop the chill that had sunk deep into her bones. 3 days without food, 4 nights sleeping under porches and stables, wherever she could find a corner of shelter. Her stomach clenched at the scent of beef stew drifting from the saloon, rich, warm, taunting. She clenched her jaw and looked down, trying to will the hunger away. The saloon doors burst open with a gust of warmth and raucous laughter. 2 men stumbled out into the snow, their breath steaming in the frigid air. One of them paused, squinting toward the alley. Well, what do we have here? Amos Kane's voice was thick with drink and cruelty. He stepped toward her, boots crunching in the snow. Little bird, all alone in the cold. Anna shrank back, the bricks scraping against her spine. Leave me be, he grinned, showing yellow teeth. Now that ain't friendly. I got a room upstairs. Fetus warm, bed soft. You come up with me, I'll make sure you get supper. I said no, she whispered, though her voice trembled. You sure? Amos, eyes narrowed, mean and sharp. You got nowhere else to go. Don't pretend like you're better than what you are. I heard about you folks talk. He reached for her arm. Let go, she said louder, now twisting away. Don't be stupid, it's a fair trade, room and board for a bit of Macbear companionship. The lady said no. The voice cut through the snow like a blade. Deep, steady, calm. From the shadows stepped a man, tall and broad-shouldered, a wide-brimmed hat dusted with snow, his duster coat flapping in the wind. The scar down his left cheek caught the lamplight, a pale line against sun-darkened skin. His eyes were a steely gray, unwavering. Amos turned. This ain't your business, stranger. It is now. The man's voice didn't rise, didn't threaten, but it didn't need to. Amos puffed up. You don't know who she is. I know what she is right now, cold, hungry, and being harassed by a man who can't take no for an answer. You calling me a liar? I'm saying you should walk away. A tense beat past Amos' hand hovered near the pistol on his hip, then he sneered and spat into the snow. She ain't worth it anyway. He turned and stumbled back toward the saloon, muttering curses under his breath. Anna sagged against the wall, her legs threatening to give way. The stranger turned to her, assessing with quiet concern. You're not all right, he said. I'm fine, she lied. When's the last time you ate? She looked away without a word. He shrugged off his heavy coat and draped it around her shoulders. It smelled like saddle leather and wood smoke. Warmth spread through her body so fast it nearly made her cry. Why are you helping me? She asked. Because someone should. He held out a gloved hand. Name's Jacob Thornton. I own a ranch outside of town. Anna Harlow, I know folks have been talking about you, but I watch people for myself. I've seen you trying to find honest work, seen you turn away from men like Amos. What's your point? My point is I need someone to cook, clean, keep the house running. It ain't fancy, but it's honest, room, board, wages. She stared at him. What's the catch? No catch, just work and maybe a chance to start over. Snow fell silently between them. Anna's hands clutched the coat tighter. You trust strangers that easily? She asked. Not usually, Jacob replied, but you don't strike me as the kind of woman who lies about the shape she's in. You hungry? Jace, she whispered, then let's get you fed. He guided her toward the wagon parked at the end of the street. She hesitated, then climbed aboard as he snapped the reins and they rolled out into the storm. Anna glanced back once at the dim light of the saloon. She had traded her pride for survival, but something told her maybe this time she might be trading it for something more. The snow thickened, muffling the sound of the wagon wheels as Anna sat beside Jacob Thornton on the narrow bench. She clutched his coat tighter around her shoulders, bracing against every jolt in the frozen trail. The silence between them was long and uneasy. She glanced at him. His jaw was set, reins firm in his hands, snow gathering on the brim of his hat. He had not spoken since they left town, save to help her into the wagon. Anna broke the quiet. How far is your ranch? Those horses in good weather might take longer tonight. The horses snorted, breath rising in thick clouds. She rubbed her stiff fingers. Do you live alone? For a while now. No wife? No. His answers were short, but not cold. Still, she did not trust easily. In her experience, men expected something in return. What kind of work do you need? She asked. Cook, clean, keep the place standing. That's all. That's all. She studied his profile. No hunger in his gaze, no slick charm, just quiet steadiness. It unsettled her more than anything. You said it's big, bigger than most. My grandfather started it, my father built it up. I'm just trying to hold it together. Silence returned. Anna looked out at the vastness, snowy hills, bare trees, mountains standing watch in the distance. I didn't expect so much space, she murmured. Most folks don't. Wyoming's got plenty. They crested a ridge and the land opened up to reveal the ranch, a 2-story house with a slanted porch, a barn leaning slightly, and several snow-covered outbuildings. Smoke curled faintly from the chimney. That's yours? Jacob nodded. Needs work, but it's solid. He pulled the wagon up to the porch and jumped down when he helped her off. His touch was warm and steady. She flinched, but he stepped back, giving her room. Inside the house was cold but not empty. Dust lingered and the furniture was worn, but there were signs of life. Photos on the mantel, boots by either door, a quilt folded neatly on a chair. Your room's upstairs, second door on the right. She climbed slowly. The room was small but clean, a single bed, a wooden chest and a window facing the mountains. A Hand-made quilt covered the bed in soft faded color. Anna sat on the edge running her fingers along the stitching. It had been so long since she'd had a room with a door she could close. Downstairs she heard the crackle of fire. The scent of coffee soon followed. When she came down, Jacob handed her a mug and slid a plate across the table. Bread, butter, cold ham, simple but real. Her hands trembled as she took the mug. The warmth almost too much. You didn't have to do this, she said. Maybe not, but I wanted to. They ate in silence, and for once she did not feel the need to explain herself. Afterward Jacob leaned back. There's something I should say. Folks in town will talk about you being here, about me being a bachelor. Anna's spine tensed. I figure they'll whisper, say you're trading favors for shelter. She swallowed. They already do. He met her eyes. Whatever they say, it doesn't change anything here. This is your home now for as long as you want it. Oh, the word rang in her like a long forgotten bell. She looked down. You don't know what I've done, what might follow. Me. Jacob's voice was quiet. I don't need to. I know you needed help. I know you said yes when you could have said no. That's enough. The wind howled outside, but inside for the first time in a long while Anna felt something stir deep in her chest. Hope. Life on the Thornton ranch settled into a rhythm. Each morning Anna rose before the sun, wrapped herself in the heavy shawl Jacob had given her, and lit the stove in the kitchen. She swept the floors, washed dishes, and attempted simple meals: porridge, boiled eggs, strong coffee. But on the third morning, while cooking bacon and eggs, the pan hissed and spat. Her sleeve brushed the stove's edge and caught fire. She screamed, stumbling back. The door slammed open. Jacob ran in, grabbed the water bucket by the hearth and poured it over her. The flames sputtered, leaving her soaked and trembling on the kitchen floor. I am sorry, she whispered, breath shaky. I cannot even cook breakfast. Jacob crouched beside her, his voice low. You're learning that stove's tricky, just takes time. He handed her a towel. No scolding, no judgment. Over the next hour he showed her how to read the flames, adjust the dampers, and find the stove's hot spots. His voice was calm, his hands steady as they guided hers. Anna watched him closely. Not just the lesson but the way he moved, spoke, taught. Every action was respectful, deliberate. He treated her with a patience that unsettled her more than cruelty ever had. That night she returned to her room and found a bundle wrapped in brown paper atop her quilt. Inside were 2 new pairs of woolen stockings, a heavier shawl, and a note in Jacob's handwriting. Thought you might need these with the cold coming in. Days later, when the sugar ran out, she found a jar of honey tucked neatly in the pantry. On the table near the window a stack of books had appeared, worn novels, a slim poetry volume, and a travel journal with pressed flowers between the pages. He never mentioned them, but each offering spoke more than words. Jacob thanked her after every meal, even the burned ones. He always wiped his boots before stepping inside. Quietly, without asking, he fixed the squeaky stair, the loose hinge on her window, the broken drawer in the kitchen. One evening after supper Anna wandered to the barn and found him kneeling beside a calf, wrapping its leg in a salve-soaked cloth. You're good with them, she said. Jacob glanced up. Animals don't lie, they tell you what they need and they don't judge. She took a step closer, drawn by something unspoken. The way he spoke to the calf, low, kind, made something in her chest tighten. She had not known gentleness could look like this. Later that week, while dusting the parlor, she found a photograph tucked behind a row of books. A young woman with bright eyes and dark curls leaned into a younger Jacob. Both smiled like they believed the world would always be kind. She had just picked it up when his voice came from the doorway. Her name was Laura. Turned quickly. I am sorry, I wasn't trying to pry. It's all right. He stepped in, his face unreadable. I put it there so I wouldn't see it every day, but I couldn't hide her either. She was beautiful, she was, he said quietly, taking the photo from her hands. We were supposed to be married. She died the winter before fever. Anna said nothing. There was nothing to say. She believed in second chances. Jacob added, she thought no one should be judged by either worst mistake. Anna studied him, the scar, the steadiness, the quiet grief behind his eyes. She must have loved you deeply, she said. She did. He placed the photo back on the mantel. And I think she would. Abby liked you. The words landed like a tremor in Anna's chest. She wanted to believe him, wanted to believe someone like her could be known and still be wanted. That night when she returned to her room she did not look away from the photograph on the mantel. She let its presence linger. For once she did not feel like a trespasser. She felt invited. The morning sun glinted off the snow-covered fields, but the cold still bit sharp as ever. Anna was drawing the breakfast dishes when she heard the wagon wheels crunching into the yard. She glanced out the window and saw Jacob returning from town, his face shadowed beneath his hat. There was a tightness in his shoulders she recognized immediately. Trouble. He stepped inside, stomping the snow from his boots. We need to talk, he said quietly. Anna set the towel down. What is it? A man's been asking around town. Well-dressed, said his name was Victor Harlow. Her breath caught the name, twisted like a knife in her gut. Said he's your brother. She turned away, gripping the edge of the sink. He found me. Did not sound like a concerned family man. Jacob said Bill over at the general store said the man was asking questions, wanted to know if anyone had seen you. Said there was family business that needed resolving. Anna stayed silent for a long moment. He is not here because he misses me, she said finally. Victor never does anything that does not serve him. Jacob crossed his arms. What does he want? To silence me. Jacob's brow furrowed, but he did not interrupt. 3 years ago, Victor was courting the daughter of one of father's business partners. Emily was just 17. Sweet girl, trusted him. Her voice grew quieter. One night something happened. He took advantage of her. He hurt her. Her family left town the next day. No Explanation just gone, but I saw the bruises. I knew what he did. She met Jacob's gaze, her own steady. I told father, but Victor had already spun his lies. Said Emily was hysterical, unstable. He convinced father that I was trying to sabotage him out of jealousy or spite. Jacob's jaw clenched, and now Victor knows I could ruin him if I spoke to the right people. Judges, business associates, society types. His whole reputation would crumble. He is not here to bring me home. He is here to make sure I never talk. Jacob nodded slowly. Then he will find me standing in his way. Anna looked at him, her heart tightening. I do not want you caught in this, she said. I already am. They were still standing in the kitchen when the sound of hooves broke through the quiet. Anna stepped to the window. A lone rider approached the house, his coat immaculate, his posture too perfect to be anything but practiced. Even from a distance she recognized the way he held himself. Victor Harlow. He dismounted smoothly, tied the residential to the porch rail, and looked up at the house with a smug expression. Jacob moved to the door, but Anna stopped him. I will talk to him. I will be right behind you, he said. They stepped onto the porch together. Victor smiled at the sight of her. Well, there you are, little sister. You have certainly made yourself at home. Victor the first must say, I expected something less civilized, but this, he gestured to the house, is almost respectable. What do you want? She asked. To bring you home, of course. His voice was syrupy, each word oozing false concern. Father has been beside himself. Father disowned me, or did you forget? Victor's smile tightened. That was before he heard your side. I am sure if you came back and made amends. I am not going back. Victor's eyes flicked to Jacob. And I suppose this cowboy has something to do with your sudden defiance. Jacob stepped forward. She is not property. She makes her own choices. Victor's expression hardened. You think she told you the truth? You think she's some wrong girl just trying to survive? Ask her about what she did in Laram. Ask about the scandal with Jonathan Webb. And his stomach turned. That is not your story to twist. Oh, but it is, Victor said smoothly. See, it is your word against mine, dear sister, and you are already running from one. Miss, how many more before this man here realizes what you are? Jacob's voice was calm but edged with steel. She does not owe you anything. You are not welcome here. Victor's gaze sharpened. Careful, Thornton. You think this ends with a warning? I always finish what I start. Then start walking, Jacob said. Victor's eyes lingered on Anna, a flash of something dangerous passing through them. This is not over. He turned, mounted his horse, and rode away, the wind swallowing the sound of hoofs. Anna stood frozen on the porch, her heart racing cold despite the sun. He's not done, she said softly. Jacob placed a steady hand on her back. Neither are we. The wind had stilled, but the cold cut sharper than ever. Snow crunched under Victor Harlow's polished boots as he approached the porch, a folded paper in one gloved hand, two men watching from the gate. Immaculate in a dark coat and gloves, he radiated confidence. Anna and Jacob stepped outside to meet him. Victor raised the paper. Anna Harlow, by ye authority of Sheriff Lum, I'm placing you under arrest. Theft $200 from your father's store. Jacob's voice was flat. Let me see the warrant. Victor gave a smug smile. This is family business, stay out of it. Jacob didn't move. Warrant. Victor slid the paper back into his coat. The sheriff will sort it when she's returned. I didn't steal anything, Anna said. Victor spread his arms. You vanished the same night the money did. People will draw conclusions. You forged that document. Anna said. I don't need to forge anything, Victor said coolly. People just need a reason to question you, like Samuel Reed. Anna stiffened. Victor turned to Jacob. Did she tell you about him, the man who paid her when she was 17? That's enough, Anna snapped. She took his money, meals, clothes, little gifts, until she refused to give what he wanted most. Jacob looked at her. I was 17, she said. I thought he cared. Victor's smirk deepened. But she took the money, same as with father. It's a pattern. Leave, Jacob said, stepping forward. Victor's hand moved fast, too fast. In a blink he had a pistol aimed at Anna. She's coming with me, he growled. In the wagon or in a box? Time slowed. Jacob launched forward, tackling Victor to the ground. The gun flew into the snow. They grappled violently until Victor yanked a blade from his boot and slashed. Jacob gasped as the knife grazed his arm, blood soaking his sleeve. Stop, Anna screamed, diving for the pistol near the porch. She pointed it, hands shaking. Victor let him go. The blade hovered above Jacob's throat. Do it, she shouted. I'll shoot. Victor froze, chest heaving. You don't have the nerve. Try me, Anna said. One more step and I end this. Jacob seized the moment to shove Victor away. They rolled apart, blood painting the snow. Victor stood panting and furious. This changes nothing, he hissed. Anna steadied the gun. I know what you've done. The missing funds, the forged contracts, the land stolen in father's name. Victor pulled. You're bluffing. I watched you. I remember every deal. You thought no one noticed. He looked toward his men at the gate, then back at her. No one will believe you. You're a runaway with a ruined name. I believe her, Jacob said, now on his feet, blood on his sleeve. He moved beside Anna. She was a child. Someone used her trust. That makes her a victim, not a criminal. You don't get to define her. Anna's hand steadied. Something in her heart locked into place. Leave, she said. Victor hesitated. If you ever come near me again, I'll tell everyone, and I won't be alone. Victor's lips curled. You'll regret this. No, she said, not anymore. He stepped back, brushed the snow from his coat, and turned without another word. He mounted his horse and disappeared into the trees, his men following. Anna lowered the gun, breath uneven. Jacob looked at her. You're shaking, you're bleeding, she replied. He gave a faint grin. You should see the other guy. She laughed, raw and shaky but real, and for the first time she felt tall, not because of the weapon in her hand, because someone finally believed she was worth standing beside. The snow had begun to melt around the edges of the Thornton ranch, but Inside the air felt heavier than any winter storm. A knock came just after sunrise. Jacob stepped outside to retrieve the telegram, and when he read it his face darkened. Anna, standing by the stove, felt dread call in her gut. What is it? He handed her the JJO paper from the sheriff's office in Cheyenne. Her eyes scanned the words and the blood drained from her face. Victor had filed formal charges. He now claimed she had stolen $500, more than double the original accusation. 3 witnesses had signed sworn affidavit claiming to have seen her take the money from her father's store. Anna sank onto a chair. He is escalating. He knows I am not running, so now he is trying to bury me. Jacob crouched beside her. He's bluffing. No, she whispered. He is building noose with forged rope and daring me to call it false, and people are going to believe it. We will fight it with what Victor has: money, lawyers, connections. I have a past people whisper about, and a brother who wants to